Happy Wednesday morning, the last day of August. Keith Tebow from FRC Media. Thank you for joining us today. And every Wednesday, we check in with the mayor of the city of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who is with us right now. Mayor, how are you today?
I'm doing all right, Keith. How about you?
Good. I understand you just came back. Literally, schools have been open in Fall River for, I guess, about an hour, depending on the school. What was it like going by visiting some of the schools this morning?
Well, I started at Doran, and then I went to Fonseca, and I hit Spencer Board, and then I'll probably try to do a couple more tomorrow. First and second day jitters for the kids, but it was great. There was a lot of families there, and very, very positive vibe going on right now. It is as it always is. Everyone for the first day, so it was nice because I'm fortunate enough that a lot of my former students have children now, so it's funny they're handing off their kids to us, and I can talk to them about our time together at Durfee. So it's a good time.
Yeah. And I know that this has probably been more of a normal start than we've had over the past few years because of COVID. Do you think we finally turned the corner and this will be, even though last year was somewhat of a normal year, but there was still some trepidation? Are you hopeful that this will be back to normal in many
Yeah,
shapes and sizes?
I hope so. But again, I'm walking into Government Center this morning, and there's about, I don't know, a pallet full of boxes of test kits, and I just shake my head because obviously I hope we don't use them, but at the same time it's just because we got whacked so many times by this crazy pandemic. You hope for the best, but there's nothing else you can do. You just got to
Yeah.
roll with what you got, and that's where we are right now. And I hope we're past it, but you never know. How's that?
Yeah, that's all we can say, right? That's really all we can say
That
is
is
just keep moving forward and then, pivot if we need to pivot, right? That's all
right.
we can do. So let me ask, did you have a chance to find out how things were at Durfee? I think, is it just freshmen today though? So it may not be a full traffic issue day there, or what do you know?
Well, they're reconfiguring the traffic a little bit because now we're going to have some access roads out both through the parking lot and I think up Weedamo Street. So we're working to redesign a couple of lanes in front of the CVS Plaza to make them right turns. And we get some ideas how we're going to try to alleviate the traffic for next year. I think they're going to work. The mere fact that we have a second means of egress off that campus, not onto Ellsby Street, is going to be a big plus. I heard it was a little jumpy today because they switched the road that was one way to an opposite way. Um, but um, but again, I think we'll get through it. It's just a matter of, like I said, first day jitters. We're going to have some bumps, but they work themselves out usually within the first week.
Yeah. And obviously with the sophomores, juniors, and seniors that are there this year, they experienced it last year, so they kind of will have a heads up on, on dealing with some of it. They'll probably feel it's a breeze this year, right?
I
Uh,
hope so. Let's hope
yeah.
they do feel it's a breeze.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple of park rededications earlier on Monday this
Yeah.
week. The Maris Playground and the Kathy Assad Tot Lot, both in the Flint neighborhood, and it's a good indication again. And you've talked about this many times about putting money to good use and really revitalizing those playgrounds. And they were great events.
Yeah, I was really impressed. There was nice crowds at both of them. The parks looked good. It was great seeing the kids playing around in the splash pad, and obviously the basketball court is a big draw. Damaris was tight, but at least we get a nice half court in there for the kids. And I think Mike Dion and I had taken a ride later to look at the ice rink at Travasso. So we're going to continue to work on issues in the Flint, from the housing to recreation to trash. We are keeping our eye on the beam up there. Definitely have more work to do, but we're going to keep going along and see how we can work our way out of this problem.
Yeah. What about any other parks that may be in the plans in terms of other
We
renovations?
have, I do want to go back to one thing about the
Yeah.
Flint, though. What was reflected in those two dedications was the neighbors up there. Those neighbors are great people, and they want what's best for their neighborhood, and we're going to work with them to get this done. I was very impressed with the amount of neighborhood people that came out to the parks. Going forward, we're waiting on Britland Park. We're going to redo those basketball courts, and we're going to put some pickleball courts in there on one of our pieces of asphalt that doesn't have anything on it. We're just going to redo that as pickleball, and then redo the basketball courts. At Kennedy, we're going to do redo the tennis courts, make a couple of them regular tennis, and a couple of them will break up into like 4 pickleball courts. So that seems to be the hot sport. Everybody is bugging us about pickleball more than tennis or basketball or anything. Pickleball seems like people are talking about. We'd like some more courts, so we're going to take care of Kennedy, Britland, North Park. We just did the rink. We're going to, and obviously Abbott Court. We're working on. That'll be our first one for a skateboard park redo. So we're working on our parks, and we're going to keep moving forward on those too.
Yeah. Speaking about things that will soon be renovated, I understand the city's working on renovating its website, which has been pretty standard for a while now. What do you know about the progress of when people can expect to maybe see a new website? And I understand there's maybe some participation available for city residents.
Right. I think you may see a new website. It's going to take a few months. These are big projects. We hired a national company that's done websites across the United States, from Florida to California. They're very, very professional. We had a bidding process, and we settled on a company that we like. We'd like to do something a little more splashy with the logo for the city. So we're working on putting together a contest with what I call a substantial cash prize if we use your design for the city logo, or something that we can use on the website that's catchy so people will remember us. And we're going to definitely beef it up with a better calendar, easier access to bill pay, easier access to forms and permits online, so that it's easy for the residents to go online. If nothing we learned from this pandemic, it is that people have to be able to access the city and still, do it from their home. If it's the worst case scenario like we went through, we'll beef up all those things, and that's part of the mission of this company we hired. I think it's going to be a step up. The website we have now is just a little dated, and it's a little, it doesn't really suit me that well. So let's get something that's going to promote our city at the same time, helps our residents to be able to work with city government. I think it's going to be win-win all the way.
Yeah. The company that the city has contracted with, do you know of any other cities that they've worked with that maybe people can look at some samples, even though obviously every city is different?
Yeah, I don't have them in front of me.
That's okay.
But they've done a number of cities in Massachusetts. I think we're going to be putting out a press release. I'll make sure the name of the company's in there so they can click around and see them. But they have a wide range of municipal websites, and we took pieces from each one, and we're putting together a committee to work on this. And at the same time, we have a few people that we trust that know a lot more about computers than I ever would, and they're guiding us through this. Like I said, the whole push is to make it more accessible for the residents, easier for the residents, and give them the information in a timely manner. At the same time, having a first-class calendar of events. We always hear, we didn't know that was going on, we didn't know this was going on. So we want to have a clearinghouse or some kind of a setup where people know the events that are going on in the city.
Yeah. Actually, one final question for you. Have you voted early yet for the primary?
No, I'm kind of.
You're a day of guy?
I'm a day of guy. I kind of like going to the polling places and saying hi to everybody. So, we haven't done that, but I'm going to stay with it a little while longer, going in person.
Yeah, well, and hopefully we get a lot of people out to vote, as we always
Absolutely.
like to see.
Very important.
Yeah, I know. Obviously there's early voting going now on right now at Government Center through Friday at 3:00, I believe. And then, of course, Election Day, 27 precincts across the city on next Tuesday. All right, Mayor Coogan, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
You too, Keith. Thank you.
All right, thanks. And thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. Have a great week.